Alrighty then. So here we are on another Sunday, just doing the usual, getting the breakfast ready. You know, nothing crazy. Still doing the old oaty meals. Hoo-ah! Oaty meals. Some of that good broccoli. I like my salt-free C-zones. The usual. Good old YouTube music. Can't beat it. Gonna get ready to make this steak. And yeah. I think what I want to talk to you about today is the importance of just relaxing. Some soft tissue work is what I'm going to be doing today. So between foam rolling, some lacrosse ball, just digging in there and manually releasing some of the fascia. I think that is the I don't want to say unspoken beauty of things, because I see some of the old school bodybuilders talking about it. Not old school as well. You got C-Bum talking about some soft tissue work, and some of those guys. So it's definitely on the mainstream, but it is, I don't want to say a luxury, because that seems like it's out of reach, because most of it we can do for ourselves, but it does help to have a dedicated person for it, and also so we can learn how to do it for ourselves, because that's one of the most important things, is learning how to show up for yourself, and not only just to grind for yourself, but also to relax and give yourself a little bit of credit for getting that far, and break things down and help you get to the next stage. And you're not going to get to the next stages in life by just grinding yourself into a tight, nasty little ball of fascial adhesions and junkified muscles. So if you don't have a foam roller, get a foam roller, get your lacrosse ball, get all your little tools and all those doodads, and just, you probably see me, if you know me, digging around. I've got the clavicle hardware. So that always is, forming adhesions and stuff faster than other areas. And let's see what else I had. A big, nasty infection throughout the whole leg from, 13 years ago now. And it kind of made that leg look a little different for a while. Now, through, isolateral training and just, part of the reason I went to massage school was to learn how to deal with this kind of stuff. And practicing for 6 years on the pro bodybuilders and stuff around has shown me what works, what doesn't work. And basically just consistency is what I found mostly. What I found that works the best is that nice consistency, showing up for yourself on those areas, but being accountable for your things like that. And not accountable like beating yourself up for it, but just taking an inventory on some of your things, albeit hardware, like my injury, but everybody goes through life, so gets their bumps and bruises and everything like that. So, I think learning a little bit more about the fascia, the soft tissue, and everything else just besides getting that pump is an important side to it, because if your muscles can't properly feed themselves, get adequate blood flow, and to stretch into new forms, I guess you could say. I've been seeing that FST7, the fascial stretching technique. Some people train and they focus on stretching the fascia, which is genius, I think. So that's something that everybody needs to get involved in, I believe, and it's very important. I got a little different steak this week to save a little bit of cash. So we got that nice thin slice stuff. Then I just finish it in the pan like that. Biggity bam. Oatmeal. I turned that one off. Now it's ready to rock. Got up a little late today, as you see. Not late, I guess you could say. I'm in 2 weeks I'll be up in North Carolina on my gig, so I don't want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning like I have been and wake up the rest of the team with my stuff. So I'm going to do a little bit different meal prep when I'm up there. I'm going to do these oatmeal bakes. I'm going to do a little savory one. I'm going to do, a sweet one for nighttime, but basically going to do more meal prepping rather than cooking everything first thing in the morning like I like to do, and being on that, because in these next couple months I'm going to be incredibly busy, and I'm very fortunate for that. I'll be moving into a new apartment in March, you know, just for confidentiality and accountability, I guess you could say. I want to be in more of a isolated place rather than having, you know, cameras on me out my front door, just security at my mom's. That's kind of annoying. And just this neighborhood, like I said on the last video, there's just doesn't feel like home, I guess you could say. So I'm looking at a couple places right now off of Fruitville, out east of the highway. There's the Concord, there's Sorrento right there. So those ones are looking pretty up there. And basically the reasons I'm looking at those is because they're newer. They have a nice gym. And that's going to be important for me as I'm working from home and, you know, going to the shop in downtown Sarasota here and there, but mostly just sticking around home base. I want to be able to go down to the gym, bang out my workout, bang out my cardio. If I need to test fly any new gear, I'll be able to go right out there east of the highway. I can send it wherever the flip I want for the most part, just request airspace obviously. Have my remote ID ready to rock, and that's what it's going to be about. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about, like I said, the soft tissue and how that's helped me on the way here to my goals, because I think a big part of progressing in your lifts is also taking care of the tissue as it's growing and forming into new stages. So, you know, obviously I will be having help once I have a little bit more cash flow. Dr. Andrew Wenger is going to help me with, you know, some anterior scalenes and these kind of things from post-surgery. And just some of the, you know, rhomboid area, upper traps, you can probably see from right there. Maybe a little bit of unevenness, asymmetry, if you will. And, you know, that kind of stuff has just, it's shown me a little bit of this and that on what I need to work on and what I can't work on by myself. So those are a big thing. You know, if you can't hit it by yourself, then you need to be accountable for that and just go ahead and see who can help you. And don't just go for the rinky-dink, whoever's, you know, the cheapest and all that. Find somebody who is living the lifestyle you want. A lot of chiropractors and soft tissue guys out there, they're, you know, doing what they say is the work and everything, but they look like a dump truck. So, you know, nobody wants to be a dump truck, but Dr. Andrew Wenger, he fucking does the bodybuilding and everything else, and that's what I want to get into. So, needless to say, that's what you got to do. Let's see if we can bring you over here for some plating. I think we might be able to get that to stay just like that, huh? Let's do some plating. So I like to make a nice pretty bed of the oatmeal. Get the oatmeal bed nice and ready, because that's what we like. Oatmeal in the morning keeps you nice and full for a little while anyway. And while that's going, I like to let that stuff in the pan finish up. I'll come over, stand in front of your way for a second, but I like to bing bong boop. Get that one kind of clean, ready to rock. I'm a big proponent of cleaning as you go. I like to do that, and that's just something that's stuck in me from, you know, back in the culinary days. Big thing you can always do is just clean as you go, and it makes everything nice and easy for later. Because at the end of the day, you got to show up for yourself. And hope everyone out there is showing up for those that show up for them. And if your phone doesn't ring, well, that's okay too. Remember who's on that end. If nobody's there, you're still there. Show up for yourself. And that's the most important thing I can say. You know, everybody's got somebody that cares about them. And if you don't, well, try and get out more. I'm a big proprietor of that. I try to get out more these days, but you know, in this new world, everything is very short form, attention spans are shit, and people are not, you know, what we like. And that's okay too. You know, everybody's allowed to do their own thing. And if people don't resonate with you and where you're going, well, don't feel like you have to change yourself to fit in. That's been my biggest problem, is I've always tried to change myself to fit in. And that has left me in a lot of anguish over the years. So next thing we do is we bring over the steak and broccoli, and we just give it a nice little topping right on the bed. A little bit of that roasted garlic on top, bang, bang, boop. Bob's your uncle. Know what I mean? And I know, don't clean your pans while they're still hot, blah, 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 blah. But these are very old, and I'm not going to be keeping them anyway. I've told my mom that I'm going to be giving her everything here for the most part, besides, you know, TV and my old Super Nintendo and a couple things. But so that way she can rent this place out and make a little bit of cash. Because, you know, obviously only charging me, it was $500, now $750 a month. She's not really doing much but offsetting the bills, and I'm very fortunate for that. But, you know, she could easily be charging, you know, $1,500 or something like that for right here. It's right next to Lakewood Ranch, and, you know, maybe a LECOM student or something like that find this place valuable, because it is still secluded. It's quiet. I'm able to, you know, lay out and tan in the backyard every day, that kind of thing that I like. And yeah, it's very nice, but it is not private enough for me. And to top this bad boy off, I get a couple scoops of salsa. I've been using the Herdez because it's only got a gram of sugar. Can't beat that. 2 grams carbs, 1 gram sugar, and a short list of ingredients. So that's what you got to do. Find what works for you. I also like the Pace, but obviously Pace is maybe has a little more GMO or something like that in it. But, you know, 2 tablespoons, that might be a little hefty, but that's okay. And there you go. Bing, bang, boop. Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle. Yeah. And then, as always, I don't know if you guys are like me, but you do all your dishes and then you like turn over and you're like, oh, damn it, I got those ones. So, you know, that's what I usually deal with. So, how about that? That's a pretty good spot for that. I like that. But there you go. So that's a little bit more of my breakfast routine, how I do it. Plate it up, get it going. Stand in front of the camera for a second and yammer about it. I'll see you guys in a minute for some soft tissue work, yeah? Be good or be good at it. 2026? Yeah, 2026 is y'all's year. I kind of see it just more as a continuation of these last 2 years of just growing. In many ways, I still feel like I'm just learning how to do this thing that we call life. And I'm fortunate to be able to do that. You know, spend the time, do what I like, and there you are. And to keep growing as an individual. And yeah, show up for yourselves. See you out there. Let's do this thing. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of the soft tissue work. I think you can almost see my face and everything, but either way, what we're gonna be looking at is the legs and see how that one has a little good separation there, and that one's got a little more separation in there. So we're gonna go ahead and, you know, warm up the tissue a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Just a little roly roll. Warm it up. And like I was saying earlier, the reason that, I guess I can maybe step back a little bit, you can see everything, maybe. Yeah, that'll work. A little bit like that. And then you can take a tool. I'm gonna be using this little guy, which basically is just a thumb little plastic thumb. Nothing too crazy. And a little bit of lotion. Whatever you got to work. And get it in there, nice and easy. And the idea is not just like, you know, when we're foam rolling, we just mash everything, right? But we want to get in there in between the separation and really break down some of that soft tissue adhesion. Really get in between the muscles. So if you don't know your anatomy, you know, we actually have 5 quadricep muscles. I don't know if everyone knows that or not. But you got vastus lateralis, medialis, vastus intermedialis, and then we also have rectus femoris that goes all the way up and down. And then underneath we have this little one that's called tensor of vastus intermedialis, which is a pretty cool one. But it basically just works you know, in conjunction with intermedialis and helping your leg do a little bit better extension on some moves. But see, going through and getting in between the tissue, really breaking that down, getting in there, you can see, even just after a second, that we're getting a little better look through already. And this is one of the secrets that the bodybuilders, you know, get into to help their muscles express themselves better and to just fill out and be better. Well, better looking anyway. And the better that these muscles can express themselves and open up, the more blood flow that can go there. And ultimately, the bigger they can grow. And this is what I meant whenever I was saying that I want to grow my legs, is this kind of work you have to do in order to allow that to take place. Obviously, you still have to train them, and, you know, progressive overload, volume training, everything like that still has its place. But if a muscle can't properly express itself, then, yeah, see, bam, already getting closer. But now we can see a little bit more striation through here needs to come through. And, you know, this is something that you can do for every muscle group that you have. And that's the beauty of soft tissue work. You know, sometimes if you feel like the tool's not quite working, I like to get in there as well. Kind of spread it out. Let that all go through. And, you know, obviously I went to school for this as well, but you can watch any, you know, there's a lot of IFBB guys out there that have some of this massage stuff on their channel now. Chris Bumstead has some. I was watching one yesterday. I think Kai Green had one from forever ago talking about it. But, you know, it's just part of it. So as much as you build your body up, you got to help it along its way. And that's how we do that. And that's the right one. It's already looking pretty good. So we're just going to kind of break it down and just help it do its thing. Not a lot of adhesion going on in here. I think I'm predominantly a left leg stander, so I've been working on that. And yeah, moral of the story there, people, is keep on doing it, no matter what your goals are. I know for me, I want to be a better mover in this whole, you know, three-dimensional space. You know, see how that didn't quite work yet? That's what we need to work on. We need to be able to go all the way down from there and then all the way back up. That's a big one. And it's not quite where I want it to be yet, but little teardrops coming through on the bottom. That's what we want, huh? That's what we want, them teardrops coming through, quads looking okay in shorts. But see how I'm still what they call one of them sleeper builds, I think. So now that we got all the fat off for the most part, it's time to keep building. You know, we want to be a little bigger. I was freaking back in the 130s this morning, so obviously it's good because I'm still, you know, losing body fat while gaining some muscles. So that's what we like to see. So, you know, that's how we do it. yeah, so keep on doing it, and enjoy the process, and yeah, happy Sunday. See you guys out there.